All right, Shalom. We want to first start off giving all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'asham, Yahweh Shai, Ba'asham, Rakakodash. Double honor to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone. These are the men that taught us this truth through the spirit and power of Yahweh, Ba'asham, Yahweh Shai, and peace and blessings on to the hopeful elect. Okay, in this video, it's just going to be a few words and scriptural accounts, to add on to the spirit that, the time of our persecution is coming, real persecution, not this, the slander that's been going on for the past, I don't know how many years, where these other camps are saying that we're GMS, Great Millstone, started from the apostles on down, are rapists and pedophiles, we bums, we don't have jobs, this, that, and the third, certain, got certain instances where men's livelihood has been affected to some degree by hating ass niggas that then basically slandered and trying to get a man's livelihood affected, but it's about to heighten to where we are about to really be viewed as the filth of the earth, and widespread throughout, really here in this country in America and also throughout the world, but really dealing with here in Babylon the Great. And what we got to keep in mind is that what we're about to, face, the beginning stages of it, we seeing it through this thing with the rally in DC and the one so-called Native American Indian. Then you had the HOI out there, which, we believe that's a setup, set up so that that was a avenue to get the Hebrew Israelites in the mainstream media, and that thing went viral. So what we got to keep in mind is that we got to stay locked in to the spirit by standing these scriptures, being tight knit with the brotherhood, and all these people that are slandering and bearing false witness are going to get their judgment. How they trying to trip, our people want to trip us up or catch us up and have charges against us so that we lose our jobs, so that we get locked up. Ultimately, the Most High is going to ramp the spirit up on them to where they want to see us die, or they're going to have them feelings inside that they wish death upon us.
Yeah, get back to that old draconian law.
I'm talking about our people.
God.
The so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. It's already in him.
Yeah.
Esau is in his mind. He's showing you that he hate the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, and he want us to die. Be in slavery and dead. And what was going on when we was in hardcore bondage? Death. We was dying, by the hands of this devil.
Okay.
But they're going to get their judgment. You so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, that come against the men of the Lord and believe the lie, that slander, that bear false witness against what we're teaching, because we ain't doing none of these things. We're not a hate group. We're not black Hebrew Israelites. We are the biblical Israelites. Okay? We're telling the truth according to the Bible. All we're doing is teaching this Bible. Even though it's about to get ramped up in the spirit that we are terrorists. Okay? So we got to stay locked into the spirit and know that these things are written aforetime. These things that's about to happen to us happen to the men of the Lord. Happen to our Lord and Savior Yahweh Shai. So I like to start with that scripture, Romans 15:4. Let's go ahead and bring that out.
All right, this is Romans chapter 15. In verse 4, it says, "For whatsoever things were written aforetime were written for our learning, that we, through patience and comfort of the scriptures, might have hope."
Right. So, we read these accounts, and we've read the scriptures, and we go out and we teach these scriptures, and we have to have faith in them that this book is true. And the things that we supposed to read about the accounts, which we gonna get into a few of them, where false witness was bared on, our Lord and other men, our Lord Yahushua and other men, by our own people, and they wanted to see us deliver Yahushua and other accounts that we gonna bring out delivered up to death, ultimately to death. They wanted them to die. That's why I made that statement. It's gonna get to the point where our people are they gonna have it in their mind that they gonna have the spirit of wanting us to die. Hate us to death.
Mm-hmm.
And we really gotta believe this, because for the last however long you've been in this truth, you've been able to have a job, come home, go about your normal life. About to change, it could be any given week, month. We don't know, you know what I'm saying? But we definitely see that the time is approaching, and the fact that we proclaiming that we the Hebrew Israelites, it's out there, man. These Edomites know it, and a lot of these Jakes know what we doing. Okay? You had something you want to say?
Yeah, just concerning Romans 15:4, the whole point of is for us when we reading the accounts in the scriptures, because even the New Testament, that's the ancient days to us. So when we read this, it's to build our faith, man. Even for the ones that truly believe, we read these accounts and we know we pray for the things to come, dealing with Jacob's trouble and the turmoil on the physical level, being cast into prison, beheaded, being hated amongst all men. We read that this is our history and know that this is coming again, man. And it has to come to pass before the kingdom of heaven is at hand. And it puts us at a place of solace, knowing that we're in that time now. That, okay, now it's time. We got to go through this hard part. But after this, we good forever.
Right. And it say that in that very verse, that we through patience and comfort of the scriptures might have hope. What's another word for hope? Faith. Okay? So we supposed to read these scriptures, like the brother said, to build up our faith. Read about these accounts. Okay, we entering into the time that we reading about,
Matthew.
Yeah, let's get into let's bring out that account, Matthew 26. We start at the 59th verse.
This is St. Matthew chapter 26 and 59.
You know what is one? I did want to make mention of one thing before it slipped my mind, and I forget about it. Is that we really got to believe in these scriptures. I just want to drive that home, that you got to believe. If you bullshitting and faking, man, you're not gonna make it in the times that we're approaching. This thing, we ain't gonna be going out teaching this word, coming home, going to work, living your regular day to day as you accustomed to. We're about to enter into different times. Like I said, it could be this in another week, another month. We don't know the exact time, but we see the time approaching. You know what I'm saying? So if you're in that mindset of just kick back and ain't nothing gonna happen and we just gonna flow through this thing, basically like this is a boys club that you're a part of, and you just gonna, you go out on Saturday, then you come home. You go out on Saturday, then you come home and live your life. Then you're not in the right spirit. You're not locked into the spirit. Mm-hmm. Just want to put that out there before it slipped my mind. But go ahead,
this is St. Matthew chapter 26 and 59. Now the chief priests and elders and all the council sought false witness against Yahushua.
Read verse 58.
Matthew 26 and 58. But Peter followed him afar off unto the high priest's palace, and went in and sat with the servants to see the end.
Right. So this is you read up above. This is when Yahushua was betrayed, by Judas, and they came and grabbed him up, raped him, grabbed him up, rape in his true sense, grabbed him up and brought him to the council, okay, to the council of Israel, our people, before it went to Pontius Pilate, okay.
Correct. That's what I said back in verse 48, it said, but Peter followed him afar unto the high priest's palace, like the brother was saying, bringing him unto the council. It says, verse 29, I'll read 58 again. It says, but Peter followed him afar off unto the high priest's palace, and went in and sat with the servants to see the end. Now, in verse 59, now the chief priests and elders and all the council sought false witness against Yahushua to put him to death.
Right, to have some charges against him so that they had be justified and him being put to death. Okay? And that time is approaching us, Mm-hmm. The scriptures say that we are not greater than our master. We gonna have to bear the cross too. Matthew the 10th chapter, it say we gonna be brought before councils and councils and governors. I believe it say that. Matthew chapter 10, we'll get it real quick. Matthew chapter 10, verse 18. I'll read it.
Matthew 10 and 18.
Well, started 17. I'll read it, bro.
You should. All right, go ahead.
This Matthew 10 and 17 says, beware of men, for they will deliver you up to councils, and they will scourge you in their synagogue.
Salakia, can I say something real quick? And these are men of Israel.
Right.
Because that's the time we're approaching, man. All these people that know that Israel, they going to come up and bring false witness and testimonies against the men of the Lord who are standing 100%.
And they doing it, they already doing it, but it's gonna get greater. They slandering us, and they bearing false witness saying that we are rapists, we pedophiles, So that's all. It's we just dealing with we're in the very, very preliminary stages of the what we're about to enter into, okay? Which is great persecution. But we gonna be all right, if we have the elect, we gonna be all right. Go ahead,
Okay. You want me to read? Okay.
17. 10 and 17.
Say Matthew 10 and 17. But beware of men, for they will deliver you up to the councils, and they will scourge you in their synagogues, and ye shall be brought before governors and kings for my sake, for a testimony against them and the Gentiles.
Right, a testimony against them. Who? They're talking about the wicked scribes and Pharisees and the Gentiles. And the same thing we testifying against the wicked of our people. That look, y'all wicked and y'all going to pay. Woe to you. You're gonna be you're gonna be put to death. You think our people like to hear that we talk out there on the streets telling them that for all your wickedness that you doing, you gonna die? They gonna say, fuck you. You go to hell. You gonna die. So they don't give a shit about us,
And that's when it's gonna show who serves who, man, because we doing this serving Yahweh Shai. When they come up, they gonna run to their power. Right. They father the devil.
And what else they gonna say? Yeah, they talking about white people are the devil, and all white people are gonna die. Are gonna die.
They hate women.
They're going into slavery. Yeah, they hate black women. They gonna focus on the black woman, and it's gonna get bad out here. You know what I'm saying? But our faith is the faith that we have in these scriptures is what's gonna drive us through all of the persecution, the slander, when we get grabbed up and brought before these different, state officials or however, magistrates, or however this thing play out, the particulars and the details play out, our faith is going to drive us through that. That was it on that. We can go back to Matthew 26.
This is Matthew 26 and 59 again. It says, now the chief priests and elders and all the council sought false witness against Yahushua to put him to death, but found none.
See, and that's the greatest. That's the greatest example of slander and false witness get brought against Yahushua back when it happened over 2,000 years ago. And he went through the greatest torture and pain and death that we not going to go through, And that's an example of like it happened to him. It could happen to me. You know what I mean? And all of us ain't gonna get, this video ain't to say that we entering a time where we all gonna get put to death. We know that all of us are not gonna get put to death. Now, some men are gonna be martyrs. Some men of the Lord are gonna be martyrs for Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushua's sake. But it's gonna be a lot of men of the Lord, majority, that don't get put to death and make it through. Really. That make it through the Esau's wickedness, make it through the hour of temptation.
And get lifted up.
Right. And really all of us, all even the ones that perish or die, they're going to make it too. They're going to be lifted up first. But more so focusing on just the heat that's going to come down upon us, by us being in the mainstream media, okay, saying that we're terrorists, saying that we're rapists, saying that we're an extreme hate group. We hate black women. We hate white people, and so forth and so on. Okay, before it get to the stage of us getting grabbed up and put in prisons, and some of us put to death. Go ahead.
It's back in verse 60. It says, but found none. Yeah, though many false witnesses came, yet found they none. At the last came 2 false witnesses and said, this fellow said, I am able to destroy the temple of Yahweh and to build it in 3 days.
Right. So the point of bringing out this account and the couple of the accounts that's going to get brought out is the fact that be surprised when this stuff happen. False witnesses come up against you, these agent provocateurs, these the slanderous statements against us. Don't be surprised and shocked like, this is happening to us, We entering this time like, oh shit. This ain't the time to get nervous and scared and shit. You know what I'm saying? You ain't in the right spirit if if that's happening to you. Romans 15:4. We supposed to see this happening, about to happen, approaching, and it's supposed to heighten our faith.
Because we're seeing the prophecy come to pass.
All right, you got a precept?
No.
Acts chapter 6, start at 8, and we're going to read to 13.
This is Acts chapter 6 and 8. It says, and Stephen, full of faith and power, did great wonders and miracles among the people. Then there arose certain of the synagogue, which is called the synagogue of the Libertines, and Cyrenians, and Alexandrians, and of the Cilicia, and of them of Cilicia and of Asia, disputing with Stephen. And they were not able to resist the wisdom and the spirit by which he spake. Then they
and that's the same thing, Salakia, brother. That's the same thing with Great Millstone. They gotta come with slander, false witnesses. They got to come with these agent provocateurs, because they can't say nothing against what we really preaching.
Yeah, when it come down to the doctrine,
right?
They cannot go in the scriptures and prove what we're saying is not accurate. That's why they have to do like the brother said. They got to resort to other methods of trying to destroy us.
Right, go ahead.
Verse 11. Then they suborned men, which said, we have heard him speak blasphemous words against Moses and against Yahweh.
Right, that's suborned men basically means they got in the ears of men, and told them, say this, say that he's saying this.
That show they follow the devil, because say like in these days and times when you have a major trial or something going up and they trying to get somebody convicted and they got false witnesses they done raised up, they coach them back before they put them on the stand.
Yeah.
Look, with this the questions we're gonna ask you. We ask you this questions. This is what you're gonna say.
Exactly.
All right, reading on. It said in verse 12. It says, and they stirred up the people and the elders and the scribes, and came upon him and caught him and brought him to the council.
Right, and we know this account is dealing with, he read it, this was Stephen. Read that verse again.
And they stirred up the people and the elders and the scribes, and came upon him.
See, they stirred up the people. Mm-hmm. What does it mean they stirred up the people? They incited the people. Look what they saying. Just like, for an example, we out there on the highways and byways teaching, and then you have a fucking nigga come up and say, they over here preaching hate. They hate the all white people. They don't like the black woman. They talking about nuclear missiles is gonna drop on America, man. They tripping, man.
So when the people walk up, they already got a developed mindset of what we about, which is not gonna be in a positive light.
Right. One guy a long time ago, we was out there on the streets teaching. A damn Edomite said that we said we was gonna kill his son.
Yeah. It was one Edomite told another Edomite. He went around the corner and told another Edomite that we said we was gonna kill his son.
Right.
So the other Edomite came around, ready for some physical interaction.
Yeah, ready for war. So knowing that these things are gonna come, it's written. You know what I'm saying? Knowing it. Seeing that these things are approaching, it's written. It happened to the men of the Lord, and it happened to them to the point that they got put to death. So you really got to be in the mindset that if I got to die for this, what I believe in, I'm gonna die.
Count the cost.
Yeah, strive for the truth unto death. Even though we know that the majority of us is not going to be put to death. And if that's your lot, the Most High going to give you the spirit to get through the death, to have the mindset to take the death. Go ahead, brother.
Acts 6:12 again. And they stirred up the people and elders and the scribes, and came upon them and caught them and brought him to the council, and set up false witnesses, which said, this man causeth not to speak blasphemous words against his holy place and the law.
Read that again.
Salakia.
Yeah.
It's verse 13 again. And set up false witnesses, which said, this man ceaseth not to speak blasphemous words against this holy place and the law.
Right. He won't stop speaking against the basically it's Jerusalem and the law. Lying, blaspheming, and they was all false witnesses.
And that happened today. You have men that came against, saying that we preach not to keep the laws, statutes, and commandments of the scriptures, man.
Right.
Which is complete bullshit.
And the person, it's a little different. It's different in this time that we living in, because back then they knew that they were Israelites, and the Roman empire gave Israel the authority to keep their law, statutes, and commandments, and judge amongst themselves, unless it was a matter of putting somebody to death. You know, then they would have to go to the higher authority, Roman authority. You know. So let's bring out Luke 11:52 through 54, and we'll close it out on that.
You should start at 52.
Right. And yeah, I'll say this too. You got there's many accounts where Yahushua, they were trying to catch Yahushua up in his words. Okay, the wicked scribes and Pharisees and Sadducees. Okay. So that they can bring a charge against him. That's a form of agent provocateur. We gonna say this and try to get him to say something wrong so that we can bring a charge against him. Really get him out of, provoke him to say something that's not scriptural. Get him out of character. And Yahushua smashed everything that they brought to him. You know? Same thing with Paul. They were bearing false witness on Paul, saying Paul was saying that we are not to keep the law, but we under grace, which that was a damn lie. You know, we would now in this time that we living in. Jake don't know. Majority of Jake don't want to accept the fact that they Israelites. Okay, and we ain't got the authority from the revised Roman Empire to keep our laws, statutes, and commandments and judge certain matters amongst our people. You know, but the fact still remain that slander, false witness, and all these things came against the men of the Lord. You know? Go ahead.
This is Luke chapter 11 and verse 52. Woe unto you, lawyers, for ye have taken away the key of knowledge. Ye entered not in yourselves, and them that were entering in ye hindered. And as he said these things unto them, the scribes and the Pharisees began to urge him vehemently, and to
read that again, real Baba Kushai Salaki.
52.
Yes, 52.
It says, "Woe unto you, lawyers, for ye have taken away the key of knowledge. Ye entered not in yourselves."
Right, they wasn't giving them the people the truth, because you had the people that was following the Pharisees and the scribes and the Sadducees, okay, and they didn't have the truth, okay, and when the truth came seen, we'll read on,
and then and them that were entering in ye hindered.
Exactly, the ones that. Because the truth came through who? Yahushua bringing out the truth, starting with his 12 disciples, going about preaching what? The kingdom of heaven is at hand. Teaching this truth. And you'll have, just like you got today, all these different Hebrew Israelite groups and others that don't know that they're Israelites that'll say what Great Millstone is teaching is not the truth. Okay? So you hindering them from entering in to the what did it say, the key? What did it say? Entering in.
It says, "For ye have taken away the key of knowledge."
Okay, there you taking away the key of knowledge. You know, which is the truth of these scriptures,
and putting a block between other men. In other words, at the end of this thing, their blood is going to be on a lot of you men's hands because you're not teaching the truth, and you purpose it. A lot of men, well, I'll speak on the leaders of certain camps, are intentionally teaching contrary to the truth. Right?
Yep.
All right. This is Luke 11 and 53. And as he said these things unto them, the scribes and the Pharisees began to urge him vehemently and to provoke him to speak of many things. laying wait for him and seeking to catch something out of his mouth that they might accuse him.
Right. That's a really form of being a agent provocateur, coming together. We're going to do this to get him to say this, and then get him to say something that we can accuse him on. Okay? And just like you got these groups, like they mentioned GMS out there. When they was up in DC, he was trying to send up curses in the Hebrew, and he didn't know how to send up curses in the Hebrew. He said, where's GMS at when you need him? You know, the main guy that was speaking, you know? And you got these other groups that throw really that buzz about GMS being rapists and pedophiles. Started with these different Israelite groups. ISUPK, IUIC, okay? Taking words that were said and slandering and putting slander to it. Words that were said and flipping the script. And really you bearing false witness. Cause ain't none of y'all seen us do none of these things that, you know, starting with the apostles and the elders on down. Go ahead.
No, so like you got it.
Nah, you said you wanted to go ahead.
Nah, the point it passed me.
You know? Yeah, that's pretty much it. Well, no, I'm sorry. Did you read the 54th verse?
Come, I'll read it again. This is Luke 11:54. Laying wait for him and seeking to catch something out of his mouth that they might accuse him.
Right. You know, some of them get paid off. These agent provocateurs. Whether this deal in DC was, you know, all set up or whatever, you know, we are in the time that definitely it's about to heighten, and we about to be targeted in the mainstream media, news outlets, you know what I'm saying? And it's just time to be locked in to the spirit. And it should have, of course, it was always time to be locked in. But, you know, especially for the younger brothers coming in. This is not a boys club. This is not a game, you know. This is serious. These things are really going to happen, you know.
And just backing you up on that point, because for the younger brothers that's just coming in, the Most High done put the spirit on it. So when these younger brothers, they getting this knowledge at a faster rate, man. Just like, see, it started with the apostles and putting in the groundwork, man. They have to go and really put in the hard work, man. Being on the block multiple times a week, going to actual libraries with stacks of books and putting in the work. Now we got access to phones and internet and all these things at the tip of our fingers, man. So you get the knowledge so much faster, and you kind of gotta keep grasp holds to the fact that it's not about just stacking up knowledge. Your spirit and your faith got to grow along with your increase of knowledge, man.
Exactly. So, yeah, that's it. So with that, Lord willing, this lesson was exhorting and edifying. Once again, we want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'asham, Yahweh Shai, Ba'asham, Rakah Kodash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone, the men that taught us this truth through the Spirit, and peace and blessings unto the hopeful elect. Shalom.
Shalom.